Hello, everybody. This is Willie Sublett III, founder of RightTouch Solutions, and welcome back to the RightTouch Rundown. We've made it, friends. Part 4, the final episode of the Calculative Contributor. The final countdown. Little vocals for you. I want to start off by saying thank you for not hitting that red X because we've had some uncomfortable conversations and truths about what happens in the boardrooms. I thank you for listening. It takes a true leader to sit through it, digest it, and understand it that there may be a piece in there for me. And the fact that you didn't hit the button and stuck with me means a lot. It means that you're serious about your mission and what you want to do with your organization. As with every other episode this month, we're not talking about problems. We're talking about what it looks like when a board gets it right. This one is for everybody. The president, the quiet member, the ones who talk too much, and the ones who haven't talked enough. Pull up a chair. I got space for, I put up enough chairs for everybody. Come on in here. We're going to talk about it for a little bit. Excuse me. 4 weeks ago, we asked the question, what is going on inside the person at your board table who has not said a word yet? Then we learned that silence is rarely what it looks like on the outside. Sometimes the quietest person in the room is often the most thoughtful one that is just waiting for their moment and just hasn't quite arrived. They still got that double dutch going on, trying to get in now. In part 2, we sat with the president, put him to the side, and we talked about how building the culture of the room is their responsibility to set, and how blind spots can even exist for the strongest of leaders, and how it can keep voices at the edge of the table permanently instead of pulling them in to the center for conversation and collaboration. In part 3, we talked to our quiet friends and said, your voice is not just welcomed, it's wanted. It's owed to the mission. It is valued and it is needed. Being a calculative contributor is not a liability. Don't you remember? It's a superpower. I gave you a superpower last week, but you got to use it. Today, we're going to bring all those conversations together because a truly forward-moving board is not built by fixing the quiet person. It is not built by putting pressure on the president to do better. It is built also when everybody else in the room decides that together we are all part of this mission, and it's too important for any voice to be on the sidelines. Everybody off the bench. We play it. Now, let me paint a picture for you, Bob Ross style. Picture it. Sicily, 1921. No, just really, that's a little Golden Girls humor. Not really. Imagine a board where the agenda goes out early enough that every member arrives having already thought about it. They know what they want to talk about, what they're going to contribute. They're not scrambling. They're not processing in real time and then trying to regurgitate. They are prepared. Imagine a president who opens the meeting not with just the agenda, but with intention, purposefully creating moments, even if it's just a brief one, where everybody at the table is invited, expected, encouraged, and feels safe to bring something to the conversation. Not because it's required, but it's because it's the expected culture. Because that is just how this board and organization, that's just how we do things over here. Imagine a board member who came in with one good, strong question that they've been thinking about all week or all month if you do things, quarterly. And then they ask that question. The room slows down. And someone says, that is exactly what I was thinking about. Or that is exactly the right question. And the conversation that flows changes direction or maybe a program, a long-standing program, or a situation or procedure that was about to go down the wrong path. This is not a fantasy, my friends. This is what intentional board culture produces. And it's not just something that happens because you read a leadership book or you listen to a random distinguished gentleman on YouTube. It happens because a president decided to lead the room differently. A quiet member decided their voice was worth the risk. A board member decided that I want to make sure everybody has an opportunity. That is what this board series was always trying to build. So how does a board get there? The honest answer, it's not going to happen on its own. It's not. Board culture is not an accident. It is either built with intention or just left to develop, because it's going to either way. Culture is going to develop, great or negative. You're going to have it. A board built by default will almost always cater and center around the loudest, the fastest, the most boisterous, the extra. And anyone that is in that room will realize very quickly, oh, that's not built for me. It's just built for the extras. And then we're back where we started. But when you build it with intentionally, it's different. It means something different. It feels different. Building it with intention means the board makes a conscious decision about who it wants to be before the meeting, during the meeting, after the meeting, before the event, during the event, after the event. Even when conflicts surface, because they will, because the nonprofit, we're dealing with people. All the time people, community people, people on the board level people, passionate people. This keeps voices from permanently going mute before the mission suffers from it. It means that culture will be a conversation that the board has out loud. It won't be assumed. It won't be inherited. It will be decided. What do we expect from each other at the table? How do we want people to feel when they leave this room? What kind of board are we committed to being? When a board can answer those questions together and come back to those answers regularly, the environment will start to build intentionally, because everybody in the room knows what they signed up for. They know that there's psychological safety here. They know that just because Jim has a big voice, I'm gonna be able to talk too. People are going to listen to me too. Just because the agenda is jam-packed and we got 13 other events coming up this year, there will still be time for me to contribute. So that calculative contributor will finally have the answer to the question that's been in their mind way in the back for a long time. I'm going to tell you right now, that answer is yes. This room is for you, Fred. Come on in. I think about a board I worked in 7 years ago. There was a young lady at the table, sharp as a tack, as my grandma would say, innovative. I'm talking, she could think of these wonderful, innovative, and deep thoughts about how the mission could operate differently, right? But she had been sitting quietly through meetings for almost a full year, rarely saying things. But when she did, I started to pick up little things. I was like, man, she knows what you're talking about. Or I would change how I was thinking, but it wasn't for everybody. You have to, be there, be close by. And I remember watching the president during one of our meetings do something very simple that she had never done before. They stopped the meeting mid-agenda and said, before we vote on this, I want to hear from people who haven't had a chance to speak yet. And this woman looked up and she said, well, I actually have been thinking about this for a few weeks, and I'm not sure we are solving the right problem. I'm not sure our minds are in the right area. Baby, that room went silent. You could have you could have heard her on cotton, okay? And then she went to work informing us on all the points that had been on her mind previously. The direction of that room shifted, my friends. My mouth was agape, if you will. And that voting atmosphere completely changed. I know that I remember changing my vote. So glad we hadn't had it before. Can't speak for everybody else, but you can feel in the room, conversations started happening all over the place. The president did nothing complicated. They just created that one moment of space. And that is when the mission moved collectively. We were all talking and collaborating. Oh, that's a great point. I didn't think about this. Think about this. What about that? That is what this arc has been all about. I want to leave every person watching this with just one thought. The mission you said yes to is bigger than any one voice at the table. But it is also built like, a For You page or algorithm, brick by brick, with every voice that shows up with intention and offers something real. The president creates the room, the board members enter it, and the choir member who finally enters the middle and not the edge. The board decides that together, the silence will never again be confused with contentment, with disengagement, or with dissatisfaction. That is a board that moves the mission, and that is a board worth building. Well, my friends, that is a wrap on the Collective Contributor. Thank you for riding with me on this one. This has been a tough one. These 4 episodes were some of the most personal conversations we've had on the Right Touch Rundown, and I hope they landed somewhere real for you. The next arc is coming soon. Stay with me, stay connected, and stay subscribed. And if this conversation helped you, you're bored, somebody you know, see itself a little differently, feel free to share it. Start with episode 17 and just let it run. Let it play in the background. Or start wherever you want to. Again, it's your YouTube channel. I can't make you do nothing. But I do want you not to gatekeep. And as always, remember, mission moves best with structure. Have a great day, my friends. See you in July.